How long it takes.
Good day to all our listeners of Dream to Rise. And I have a special guest, Mr. Paul Zohav is a seasoned relationship and communication coach with over how many? 30 years of experience since he began as a domestic abuse counselor in Central Virginia. And as the founder of Marriage and Communication Coaching based in Tucson, Arizona, Paul offers a range of services, including marriage coaching, premarital counseling, parent-teen communication, and support for couples confronted by infidelity and divorce. And his approach emphasizes practical, compassionate communication strategies designed to foster trust, forgiveness, healing broken connections, restoring intimacy and mutual respect. He is also the author of Marriage and Communication Recipes for Life, a marriage manual formatted as if it was a cookbook, providing communication tools for deepening connection and intimacy in relationships. Without further ado, I would just like to introduce to you Mr. Paul Zohab. Welcome, Paul, to our Dream to Rise, to our podcast, and I'm so glad that we were able to connect.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm enjoying meeting all of you who are watching this.
Yes. And we got connected through Alignable, right? And
Correct? No?
yeah. So it's a nice platform again to network and see how we can collaborate and support each other. So let's start the ball rolling. So I would just like to ask you, can you tell us something about yourself that brought you to where you are right now?
Well, looking back, I've always, I've not been content with the world as it is. I've always looked for other ways of being. As a young person, I said, I can have the idea. I'll move to Israel and to live into a communal society like kibbutz shamrat. And I figured if people will live in a communal society, they would behave well.
Oh,
No.
no.
I thought if he changed the society, he would change the person. I have my first degree was in sociology,
Mhm.
which has a more societal point of view. I said, listen, if people shared things equally, they wouldn't be greedy. Well, that's not exactly the case. And decade after decade, I looked for, well, maybe the world would be better if we had food cooperatives. And I worked for food cooperatives for a while. And I I get up, I'm just not content with the world as it is. I can feel the world that will be, that we're bringing into existence now. And I can say my entrance into domestic violence and abuse and counseling couples began when I was a substitute teacher in a Central Virginia high school. And I said to my students of that day, well, you don't have to accept abuse from a boyfriend, said I. And the young women in that class said to me, but Mr. Z, if I don't accept abuse, I don't have a boyfriend. And that caught my attention. And when I finished my degree in counseling from the University of Virginia, I looked for ways to create a world where domestic abuse, relationship abuse, was not a main factor. And I'm still at that. And one thing at the same time, I realize that our teenagers feel obligated to say yes when they want to say no. They want to belong. They want to be accepted and popular. They want to be in love because that's what teenagers like to do. They like to be in love. And their friend comes up with a particularly teenager age idea. Let's do this thing. And they know it's not for them. They don't want to do that. But they're afraid if they say no, they'll lose the relationship. So they say yes. We're and they put themselves in danger. They literally, it's dangerous to say yes to a bad idea, but they don't know how to say no. And so, by the way, the answer is yes, I hear you. Great idea, not for today. Let's do something else. That's the short version. You say, yes, I hear you, which means I hear your idea. I appreciate your idea, and I don't want to do your idea. So let's find something else to do. So basically, yes, I hear you is the first aid for that particular situation. Yes, I hear you. It might be something fun to do, and I'd rather do something else. So they've said yes, which establishes a relationship, and their and lets them choose the direction they want their life to go. Yes. So, um,
But I like your tip, huh? On how to deal with deal with saying no and setting your boundaries, because
boundaries.
yes.
If you start exchanging your personal being in exchange for a possible relationship, it's a very poor lifelong strategy. Because, your 16-year-old says yes, and then get into this awful relationship. And 10 years later, they say, oh, there's this great guy with great abs and a great car, and he's pretty as heck. And they let him in because they've got a hole in their bubble.
Mhm.
So we want teenagers to learn how to be safe. And among other things, my book is intended to provide recipes that can be translated into curriculum for a high school student. Because our curriculum in high school is science, technology, engineering, and math. There's not one bit dedicated to relationships and communication, which is absurd and dangerous.
But I like that because it's I want to focus on the children, the future generation, because
Mhm.
the our generation or the elder generation, it's so hard to really convince them to do something because they already have this fixed mindset. But at least for the younger generation, they still listen. There's still a point wherein okay, if you do this, this might be the consequences and so on. But then for the elders, I don't know because they have already experienced life and they're kind of stubborn. But then just like my mom, even though we would say that you have to walk, to exercise to make sure because she's having a hard time with her knees, she wouldn't she wouldn't obey or she wouldn't agree with us, but it's for her own good. So I agree with you that we need to focus on the children because they are our future generation.
Well, one thing we have to be aware of biology. 16-year-olds, they're pretty smart, but
Mhm,
they have no experience of life.
mhm,
In fact, one could say that cognitively, intellectually, they have no relationship between of of consequences. They want what they want, but they haven't got a sense of how much it would cost them. A 16-year-old has a very weak relationship with consequences. You can teach them how to operate a vehicle, but you can't teach them to expect to hit a tree. You can teach a teenager how to maintain their biology and sex education, but you can't teach them at that stage to imagine being pregnant themselves. Cause and effect is very weak in a teenager's world.
mhm.
And we as parents get to be responsible. No, you can't do that. Why? Not safe, says you. I'll be safe. And listen, until you're an adult, I have the last say. That's the basic parents have to say, listen, you can hate me for a week, but change your clothes, come do what I tell you to do. And then when you're adult, you can make your own mistakes. I will never compromise your health and safety, says a parent. Never compromise your health and safety. Get out of those clothes. It's not safe.
Yes. There was a time wherein I'm always worried for my children.
Mm.
because I don't want them to experience the fall. If I could prevent them from falling, I will lift my hand and then try to catch them. But my supervisor, but then it affects my health and well-being. I'm so stressed. I'm always worried. I'm not at peace with myself. So even my supervisor was telling me, Cynthia, you need to let them go and experience the consequences because that's how they will learn.
We do our best as parents for the
Uh,
first, say, 18 years of their life.
uh,
And really, the most important years are the first 10 years. We get to equip them with the communication and relationship skills so they can make good choices going forward. So that's our job as parents. We're actually, you could say that a child is installing an operating system for their life, and they're copying their operating system from us.
yes.
So, as parents, we need to have a good operating system for marriage and relationships and communication. And then naturally, our children will copy us, at least for the first 10, 15 years. So, we want them to install an operating system like a computer has an operating system. If when it catches a virus, your computer stops working.
Mhm,
Your body, your health has an operating system. And when it catches a virus, we get sick.
mhm.
So our children are watching us very carefully. What's life about? And so it's upon us as parents to give them a good operating system. And then we can relax and watch them be adults and enjoy our grandchildren.
Yes, and I would just like to share because my daughter, it's hard to raise a daughter, especially when they reach that teenage years. So whenever I share with her about um what's this unconditional love,
Mm.
we're here to support you. We're here if you need help. And then she couldn't understand. When she had her children, she told me, Mom, now I could understand the meaning of unconditional love.
Well,
And
Mark,
I told
uh,
her, that's it. You need to experience it before you could.
and if we help them install a high quality operating system for life, how to forgive, how to be responsible for yourself, not to exchange a piece of you for a piece of that. So our influence is in the first 10, 15, 18 years of life. And to the degree that we succeed, they'll be safe or safer. Life happens, but um, Mark Twain has said something like, when I was young, my parents were stupid. Now that I'm older, I see how wise they are. How much they've learned in the last 20 years. It's inevitable.
Yeah.
So we want to teach them how to communicate so
Mhm.
they can use it in their own lives going forward.
And
For
sometimes
instance,
it's tough love. They would always complain
mhm,
that you always control me, you always
yeah,
punish me, or so on, because that was how we were raised during our time, no?
hmm
You cannot do this, it's do this, do this, do this, very authoritarian and without any explanation.
yeah,
But now, in terms of the younger generation now, it's different. So, what
very.
can you say about us as parents making some adjustments? Because do we need to adjust because of the change in the 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 history or the generation? Or I know it's still effective being a disciplinarian, but then I also saw some consequences wherein the children would distance themselves because you're super strict. So what can you say about those things?
Well, there's a time of transition from a parent of a child to a parent of an adult. At some point, around age, we get to watch them make some of the same mistakes that we did. It's inevitable. And we are there as at some point we become a resource, not the boss. between the ages of 20 and 30, they're not really interested in our point of view.
Mhm.
They're not. And around 30, they come back and say, oh, now we could use some of your wisdom. But then for 10 years, they're figuring it out. And we get to watch it. We can seem to sit in the stands while they're on the field of their life. And we might wish it otherwise, but unless and until they say, Mom, what do you do? We don't offer us advice and suggestions. And that's about age 20 years old onwards, maybe even a bit younger. That's, being transitioned from the parent of a child to a parent of adult is a challenge. And we get to watch them make brand new mistakes. And God willing, they survive. And as parents, I remember the moment, I must have been around 16 or so. My parents said, we no longer tell you what you should do. But they told me that. We no longer tell you what you should do. It's up to you now. I remember that moment when they took their hands off the wheels. They took their hands off of my life, and I saw myself as being responsible for me, and their witnesses and advisors were necessary. One more piece. We live in a world surrounded by I have to, I need to, I should, and I must. And we, as parents, would say, you have to, you should, you must. We parents, we pass that language on to our children. I have to, I need to, I should, and I must. But if we listen carefully, we'll hear, or else.
Mm.
There's a consequence if you don't do what you have to do, need to, should, or must do. And when we live in that world, we live a world by obligations and circumstances, not by opportunity. Life becomes a reactive. Life becomes, we're not free. If you live a have to go to work, you're not free. So you want to change your language from a have to life to a get to life.
The fear is always there. That's
Well,
why
as,
others won't try to take risk because, oh, I might commit a mistake. Just like I remember when I first moved here, my mom would tell me, okay, make sure that you, ano, getting a driver's license. And then she told me, be careful driving or else you'll get deported. And what? Because if you commit a mistake
uh,
of committing tickets or overspeeding, then you'll be deported. So I told myself, and then why should I drive? I will just take the public
mhm,
transportation.
mhm,
So that was my reaction because of
mhm.
fear.
Well, if we shift our language to you get to drive carefully to avoid unwelcome attention,
Uh-huh,
get to drive responsibly,
uh-huh.
and you will avoid to the maximum amount available unwelcome attention. Get to. Sometimes you have a teenager says, do I have to do my homework? You say, no, you don't have to do your homework. They go, what? Well, if you have to do your homework, it just takes longer. You do the minimum amount to fulfill the assignment. You learn less and your grades are smaller.
Mhm,
If you, beloved child of mine, get to do your homework, you get to it sooner, it gets done sooner, you have more free time, you learn more, and your grades are more likely to be A's and B's. There's nothing in our family. Our family is not a burden, it's an opportunity. It's a safe place for you to grow until you're able to live on your own life. Get to life, not a have to life. A get to. You get to clean your room. You get to clean the dinner table. We don't want to. It's easier to get to go shopping than it is to have to go shopping. So it's a shift of language. You just switching two vowels from an O to an E, and you go from a have to life to a get to life.
and it also shifts from to a growth mindset. It's more positive, right?
You get to be careful. You get to be aware of your safety
Mm-hmm.
always.
Yes.
You
Uh-huh.
don't, you may feel like you have to do what they say, and
Mm-hmm.
it's dangerous. So you get to say, yes, I hear you, and I'd rather not do that. That's your way out.
Mm-hmm.
So language is important. If you
Yes.
if you start your sentences with yes, you're on your way to communicating. Yes means I heard you. I'm responding. I heard what you said. And then with an and, you get to choose what's next. It's really uncomplicated. I've been working on uncomplicated for 35 years, and I'm getting pretty good at it.
Wonderful tips. Wonderful tip. And this does not only apply to children. It
Mm-mm.
also applies to our spouses, to our partners, even to our parents, to our
Mhm.
siblings.
You know,
Yes.
we get to share the maintenance of our home. We get to help each other cook. We get to take care of our home. It's not a have to, it's a get to. A get to life is a lot more fun than a have to life.
Yes. I agree. I love that. Wonderful. So that the main point wherein you had to make a decision becoming a marriage and communication coach when you heard or when you had this engagement with this teenager at school, or was
That's the memory that sticks to me. These are
ah
landmark moments in my memory. I noticed that moment when they said, Mr. Z, they called him Mr. Z,
mhm.
if I don't accept abuse from my boyfriend, I don't have a boyfriend. And I saw that choice, that moment of choice, that they were not free. They had to accept bad behavior from other 16-year-old males, of which there are many, in a Central Virginia high school, rural high school. And I didn't have an answer for them. And
Oh,
after all these years, these are my answers. Yes, ands, seems. Seems is important. I don't know how much time we have left here, but we speak declaratively. And it sounds like we're saying the truth. In a
mhm,
moment, it might feel like the truth, but when you listen to me, Cynthia, I know that in your mind, you're evaluating what I say. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it right? Is it wrong? Do I agree? Do I disagree? Automatically. And if what I say to you doesn't match what you anticipate or remember, we'll stop listening. We'll
mhm.
stop communicating.
Yeah.
We're stuck. And for that, we need the word seems.
Mm,
Seems to me will get you a discussion where truth will get you an argument.
mhm,
Seems opens up discussions. Speaking truthfully gets you vulnerable to arguing about whose truth is true or whose reality is most real and who's right and who's wrong. Seems. It's important. Seems will get you a discussion where truth will get you an argument.
mhm. See, the words we speak out really is very I mean it's risky, it's dangerous because the words that comes out to our mouth, it's like a sword. I mean it will either keep the person happy or put her down.
Well,
And I'm glad that that was the point where in the teenager, when you have discovered that I have to really learn more about this because you were not able to answer her, that was the time you discovered your purpose.
yes, that really was a turning point in my life. I knew what my direction would be because I just looked for what could be, what if presence would make a difference. And it evolved after, we're talking about 30, 40 years even, to marriage and communication coaching. I teach them how to respect themselves and one another, communicate, raise children, and have an extraordinary life. It's
Wonderful.
really, I've done it about 2,000 times, probably more at this point. And they don't come to me because they come to me because they have to, and they come back because they get to.
Mhm.
Uh,
Wonderful. Wow, amazing. So, what are you, I mean, what are your goals right now and for the next 12 months?
well, I'm repurposing. marriage and communication recipes for life for
Mhm.
teenagers. You know, I'd like to have this will be it'll be formatted as a manual, as a cookbook, so to speak. And so the same yes, ands, and seems will be in there. And my intent is that a school counselor, curriculum developers will take a simple recipe and teach it to a teenager. I'm making it easily accessible, readily available. Teach the teenagers how to say yes when they need to. So I'll be publishing shortly
Wonderful.
the teenager a manual for relationship and communication. And there'll be one for business and communication, a manual for workplace collaboration, bringing these core communication skills for a wide variety of people, from work to home to teenagers to school. And these new publications will be by summertime, they'll be out. And I'm doing an audio book for my first book this
Wonderful.
week.
Wow.
So
Wow.
people can listen to the lessons on the way to work.
Wonderful. And hopefully, you know what? I hope that this will be part of the curriculum in this.
That is my intent. That is my vision. That a
Yes.
school counselor can take, it's really a recipe. It's only six, not even a paragraph long, talking about what you get by starting your sentences with yes. So a school counselor or school curriculum developer can take that and say, okay, one period, just take that one distinction and one period of study in a high school, and you'll basically shift the world.
Exactly. And
Yes.
that's what we lack in our school curriculum because
Mhm.
they focus on the academics, but nothing on emotional intelligence,
It's it, it's
nothing
like
on really personal.
they're about to graduate high school. They're about to enter the workforce,
Mhm.
and they have no idea how to get along with the person next to them.
Exactly.
They make
Yes.
bad choices out of sheer ignorance. And my intent over the next 12 months is to get this right.
Hmm.
There are more there are more English speakers in India than there are Americans in America. Think about it. There are
Wow.
250 million middle class families in India, highly educated, and they all speak English. Well, teach them some communication skills, matchmakers, and all that good things. My vision is worldwide, high quality communication and relationship skills, and I suspect we'll see a growing peaceful world when we do. That's my
Wonderful.
plan.
What a great vision, especially for the future generation. And that's what we need. I
Yeah.
agree with you. I agree with you. I'm sure this will be a great book, and I will pray that this will be considered in all schools in different states because
Listen,
it will help.
start now, right?
Yes.
I may not see, like the person, like the man who plants a fruit tree that he will never live long enough to enjoy, right?
Mhm.
There's a story like that. Why are you planting these trees? You'll never live long enough. So I plant it for my children.
Yes.
And these are seeds I plan for the future of the world.
And that's
That's
your
why
legacy that you're leaving behind.
people want to get a hold of me, marriageandcommunication.com. I'll happily coach any couple who are struggling needlessly, how to
Yes.
have a relationship that works, how to
Yes.
be great parents, how to be
Excellent.
honored, respected, loved. It's not complicated. In future meetings with you, I can happy elaborate. Basically, teach your children yes, ands, and seems, and you can go to sleep at night knowing that they have some of the tools they need to succeed.
Wonderful. Could I don't know if you'll be able again, the title of your book is
Marriage and communication recipes for life.
yes. And before we end, what simple advice that's I think that's the advice you have given us, no? The how you communicate in a more positive way. And it's not about really putting others down, even giving feedback. We should be careful in terms of giving constructive feedback because That's why other people are scared. Even in the offices,
Right.
they're scared about their evaluation because of the feedback.
Well, the feedback trick is offer an appreciation first to establish a positive relationship. I
Mhm.
really like the way you handle that with your brothers and sisters. And then you can say, and can we talk about another way of doing things? So you want to add a spoonful of sugar to make the medicine go down. Start with appreciation first, and then they'll listen to you.
Mhm.
Feedback, appreciation first.
Yes, I agree. I agree. And then the next one, okay, here are some things that needs to improve, and then
Mhm.
come up with solutions to help improve your.
Language is decisive. Instead of getting these things need to be improved, ask them, well, how else could we accomplish the same end? And then we
Ah,
listen.
see?
The rule is called the 80-20 rule. They get to talk 80%, you only get 20%. So instead of saying, do it this way, is there any other ways we can accomplish this goal? Let's talk
Oh,
about that. And then you'd let them talk. Well, is we have to go to sleep earlier to get awake in the morning, or like, how can we collaborate? Because I'm here for you, says the parent.
wonderful.
How else can we accomplish this goal so that everybody is safe and healthy?
Mhm. And for supervisors,
Mhm.
managers, you can apply
Yes,
this. You can,
absolutely. Appreciation, number one.
aha,
Two, invitation, and then listening.
wonderful. Great tips, great tips. So again, thank you so much. How can they connect with you again? Your email?
Marriageandcommunication.com.
And then if they need to set up an appointment, it's already there.
They can make their appointments, I've helped people all over the world.
Wonderful. And I still have your schedule for April for
Mhm.
my inner circle. Okay, Paul, don't
Mhm.
forget.
Well, make sure send me a very detailed email so I can my technology. I'm 75 years old. I grew up with black and white TVs, right? I'm older than Google. You can say that to your children, right? I'm older than Google. They, what? I mean, Google wasn't always here? No, I'm older than Google.
Oh my, oh my. Okay, thank you so much, Paul, for this wonderful discussion. And I'm sure a lot of our listeners were able to get a very good insights. And same with me, I've learned a lot from you. So, to our listeners, thank you so much, and till our next episode. Thank you, Paul.
You're very welcome.
Okay.